Perek Asoches HaPorlim, Daf Tzadi, sponsored the Refuah Shalema for Aaron ben Rachel. A brisa states one who threshes Trumas Meiseris does not violate the prohibition of Lo Yisachsom. The prohibition to muzzle is only bidisho, for regular threshing, that is before the miruach, the smoothing, the gemar malacha that obligates tithing. This case is where he tithed while the produce was still in husks. Also, his purpose was not to knead dough from the threshed produce, otherwise he would be permitted to eat until obligated to remove challah. The Gemara begins by reconciling this brisa with another that states he does violate the Isur of Lo Yisachsom. The Gemara suggests three distinctions. Number one, regarding Truma, the brisa that states he is not in violation of Lo Yisachsom refers to actual Truma. The brisa that states he is in violation of Lo Yisachsom refers to Gidule Truma. This is Truma that grew from the seeds of Truma produce. Biblically, the growths are chulin. Once the Truma disintegrates in the ground, it does not reappear in the growths. The Rabbanan were stringent either because people would plant Truma instead of giving it to a Kohen, or a Kohen, instead of destroying contaminated Truma, would store it until he could plant it and mistakenly consume it. Regarding Meiser, the brisa that states the owner violates Lo Yisachsom refers to Meiser Rishon, that is non-sacred property of a Levite, whereas the brisa that states there is no prohibition Lo Yisachsom refers to Meiser Sheni, which is Mammon Gavoa, money of the Most High. The term Bedisho means his produce, not belonging to Hashem. Number two, both brises refer to Meiser Sheni that was separated prematurely. One follows the opinion of Rabbi Meir that it is Mammon Gavoa. The other is Rabbi Yehuda, who holds Meiser Sheni is Mammon Hedger, the money of the owner whose animal threshes and eats within the walls of Yerushalayim. Number three, the brisa holds he violates Lo Yisachsom refers to Demai. The Chachamim required tithing for the minority of Amei Oretz that do not fulfill this obligation. It is not biblically mandated and therefore does not offset the prohibition of Lo Yisachsom. The other brisa refers to Vadei Meiser. This distinction could apply to Trumas Meiser, also referred to as Truma. Since it is separated from Meiser for the Kohen, an Amoritz would be careless in its separation. The Gemara inquires as to whether the prohibition of Lo Yisachsom applies when the animal is suffering from diarrhea. The Tanna Kama quoted in an earlier brisa holds that even where the owner is not liable for Lo Yisachsom, he must feed the animal a handful of the threshed produce in a basket wrapped around its neck because of Marisayin. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai qualifies this. It does not have to be the same kind of feed if he feeds the animal vetch, since it is the healthiest feed for the animal. He is unconcerned the animal may suffer not being fed the threshing produce. By the same token, if muzzling will preserve its health, there is no concern for its suffering from not eating. The next inquiry concerns whether it is permitted for a Jew who owns an ox to ask the Gentile to muzzle his animal while threshing. The basis of the inquiry is whether the prohibition of Amir L'Nochri, asking a Gentile, applies only to Shabbos, where the punishment for intentional violation is Misas Bezdin, execution, or even for the lav of Lo Yisachsom. The Gemara attempts to prove from Gentiles castrating Jewish-owned animals. Shmuel's father penalized the owners by forcing them to sell and not benefit. There is a machlokas if you can fulfill this penalty even by selling to a minor's son. In any event, we can infer that there is Amir L'Nochi for a lav gereda of sirus, castration. The Gemara explains that this is not a raya. It could be that this law could follow the opinion of Rav Chitkiya, that holds that and prohibits a Gentile to castrate animals. It's one of the Sheva Mitzvahs. Pious Chachamim acted lifnei mishur sadin in situations like this, even when their Gentile neighbors castrated their animals without their permission or tacit approval to exchange them with others because of the possibility of Marisayin. The Gemara inquires of other circumstances whether they qualify as Lo Yisachsom. Number one, if a thorn got caught in the animal's mouth, is the owner obligated to remove it? Number two, if he has to remove the thorn, if a lion crouched outside the threshing area, does he have to chase it away? The threshing animal is anxious and cannot eat. Number three, the owner placed her calf where she could see it. She is thirsty and cannot eat, or he covered the produce with a hide and she cannot see it. The renter can spread hay over the produce so the animal will eat it instead of the produce she is threshing. Another version is he can spread hay in front of the animal even before she threshes. Number 4, the owner muzzled her before bringing her into the threshing area. Loisachso b'disho perhaps means muzzling in the area of the threshing floor, or perhaps it cannot be muzzled while it works, regardless of where the muzzle was placed on the animal. The Gemara proves that it means it cannot be muzzled while threshing, regardless where the muzzle was placed on the animal, from the Isur for a Kohen to serve under the influence of alcohol. It says, Yain Meshechor al Teisht Bevoy Achem. The Isur includes drinking before entering the temple confines. The Gemara concludes that the Isur of muzzling and one who yokes 2 species of animals applies to the one who works them in their prohibited state.